These are the notes for today. I'm going to show you how to do two problems. 1/6 times 2, and then the other one is 3/4 times 8. And here are some side notes that we're going to start off with. So for a problem like this, 3/4 by 8, and I'll mention this in the step-by-step problems here, we're going to be doing some drawing, splitting up the drawing, and then shading. So those are three components, and again, I'll refer to that when I go over the steps. And this is a graphic organizer step-by-step. So this is where you're going to take notes on today. So we're going to have two sides. And if you don't have access to this because you're doing this from home, just do this on a blank sheet of paper and just create the bubbles that you see here. And then the main thing I'm looking for is like step 1, step 2, step 3. So just set it up the same way that you see here. It's just you're going to have to draw the lines out on a blank sheet of paper or on line paper as well. Here's the first step. So the whole number is 2, so I draw 2 rectangles. So that's step 1, to draw the 2 rectangles. And again, I'm referring back to this. When I say draw, that's going to tell you how many rectangles to draw. And since this is a step-by-step process, I'm redrawing the rectangles just so you can see how it changes each step of the way. But when you actually do this problem in real life, you're not going to have to do it, multiple times. You only have to draw it once. So again, I'm just showing you the drawing more than one time because I want you to see how it's changing from step 1 to step 2 and step 3. So again, we drew the 2 rectangles. Now, when I say split, I look at this number over here, the 6. That lets you know I got to divide these 2 rectangles into 6 parts. So you can see here, I had to create 3 sections in each rectangle. So now I have a total of 6 parts. And then step 3, which is going to be to shade, you look over here, it says to shade 1. So out of these 6 little parts that I just created, I'm going to only shade 1 out of those 6. And step 4, the last step, is to identify the amount that you shaded with respect to one rectangle. So you can see here, in this one rectangle, I shaded 1 out of 3 parts. So that would be my answer. 1 out of 3 is the answer. And then now we don't need step 5, so I'm just going to cross that step out because I don't need it. And I'm going to go down to the solution. So for the solution, all you're going to do is take the problem, 1/6 times 2, and you're going to copy it down here. And then once you copy it, you're just going to say what it equals. And you can see here from step 4 that it was equal to 1/3. And that's it. And now on problem number 2 on the other side, we're just going to do the same exact thing again, but it's just a different problem. So you can see here the steps are going to be the same. We're going to draw the rectangles first. We're going to split it up. We're going to shade, and we're going to identify the amount shaded. And then we're going to X out step 5 because we're not going to need step 5. So remember, this over here is going to let us know what to draw, which part tells us how much to split it into, and this part is telling you how much to shade it. So step 1, we're going to draw a total of 8 rectangles. As you can see here, we're going to draw 8 of those. So as you can see, I drew my 8 rectangles. Now I'm going to go to step 2, which is to split it up. Now here, when I look at it, it says it's to split it up into 4 parts. Now notice we have 8 rectangles. So this one's a little bit different because if I want to split it into 4 parts, I have more than enough rectangles. So that means essentially, think about it as creating 4 equal groups. So I want to create 4 groups of equal size. And since I have a total of 8, that means I got to split it up in this way right here. So I'm going to create groups of 2. So you can see here I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 2. So again, when I say split it into 4, you want 4 equal parts. And again, these equal parts are equal because there's 2 in each group. All right, and then step 3 is to shade. So when I look at the shading, the number here is telling me to shade 3 out of those 4 groups. So that means I'm going to shade these first 3 groups here. So you can see I shaded 3 out of the 4 groups. And now I just have to do step 4, which is to identify how many are shaded. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles shaded. So my answer would be 6. Because again, there's 6 whole rectangles. And if you compare it to the other one, notice that in this one I shaded 1 out of the 1/3 of 1 rectangle. So that's why we had a fraction for this answer. And in this one, since we shaded 6 whole rectangles, then it's a whole number for the answer. And now you can see the final answer is just take the original problem, 3/4 times 8, write it at the bottom, and write down what it equals. So you can see we ended up with an answer of 6. So I put 3/4 times 8 is equal to 6.